Hi guys, I'm Chewy, and guess what it's finally time for? We're back for the Q&A section, and this time I'm going to make sure that this file doesn't corrupt itself. Well, if you don't see this, then it's not going to break. I guess I'll give you guys a little rundown of why this took so long. So, I tried to do this before. I did a great performance, we had everything going really well, and then everything broke. Everything broke. And, well, it took me a while to get used to it. It was right before I went on vacation, and it really affected making everything. So getting back into content production, this is the first big hurdle, is making this video. So I'm really glad that we're able to do this again. And let's get out of those questions, because I have a lot of them that I've added to it as well. So let's answer all your questions that you're burning to know about this fluff butt right here. So, our first question is, Chewy, who did your fursuit? And the short answer is, me. I built my fursuit. I did the bodysuit, hand paws, feet paws, everything. The longer answer is me and my fiance both worked on it, and we did a lot of mixing and matching which parts we did, and this is the second iteration of working on a fursuit for me. It's a very fun thing to do. It's very hard to do, so every time people are impressed, like, the amount of times people are surprised that I did my own suit, it really is like pounding on the, oh, wow, I made something that actually like stands up to quality standards. So question number 2, what do you think is the hardest part of keeping a fursuit? Now, honestly, it very much depends on which person you are or what type of suitor you are. If you have short fur, you don't have to deal with a lot of things that long fur wearers have to do, or if you're wearing a partial. But a good rule of thumb for it is brushing, taking care of it, making sure it smells nice, looks nice, is brushed, doesn't get all matted up. The difference between a matted up fursuit and a nicely brushed fursuit is amazing and completely like different quality levels. So you should be focusing on making it clean, making it nice and good looking. Always have a brush on hand, fursuit spray, washing it after every con, maybe after every meet, depends on how much you're suiting. You kind of learn this as you go, about how much you should trust yourself with doing that, but definitely taking care of your suit and making sure it's in really good quality is probably the hardest part of taking care of a suit. Do you plan on doing more horror stories? Now, the answer, short answer, yes. Long answer, I've only been in the fandom for 4 or 5 years, and only like 3 of those have been actively going to conventions and attending stuff. So I can only accumulate so much cringe over time. So that's why I want to kind of make a series of that where I bring a bunch of furries at a convention and do something where we discuss stories that we have, and maybe I'll have some more by then, but I kind of want to just use it as more of a form of collecting horror stories and getting things from other people. Because I don't usually go around trying to find horror stories. I stumble into them and it scars me for life. So, yes, look for them more as a con special than a regularly occurring thing. So maybe like once every year we'll do a horror stories or something and see if there's any extras that me or the gang have come up with. Our next question is, if I killed you, what would you drop as loot? Now, like all good MMO fans, I would, of course, as a low-level drop a K-line tail. Something nice and needed for K-line soup, which you need to make 15 of for that one quest of yours, so you better get grinding on slaying me that many times. And for my rare drop, I would probably be dropping a furry pelt. So, a Chewy rug, if you would say. And for a legendary, well, you'd probably get a head of me that you could mount on your wall so that you can prove that you slayed me over 100 times. But good luck. That put up a fight. The next question's, what's your favorite part about being a furry? Now, honestly, there's a lot of things. Very early on, it was the creativity, the art, the fursuits. Fursuiting is what got me into the community. So, like, when I started, it was like, this is amazing, I want one of these, I need to get one of these, or make one of these, this is the coolest thing in the world. But over time, it changed. Like, sure, I had my first suit, and for a while I was like, this is the best thing in the world. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for this. And then I met friends. I made a community. I helped so much in the Wisconsin community and have so many friends here that it's like, this is what I'm here for now. The friends, the communities that are made, the abilities to do things that I wouldn't be able to do had I not met all these amazing, awesome people from this fandom. So, it evolved, it's changed, but I'd say for sure the community, the people, the friendliness, this is one of the most open and welcoming communities ever, and it makes it so easy for me to, like, branch out and make friends. And I would never have it any other way. Our next one, if you ever get really famous, what video games are you still going to be playing? And as someone who's grown up with video games and always has been playing them, most Star Wars games I'll always come back to. I definitely love playing the Arma series. There's always a couple other single-player games I like to play. As I'm also trying to do live streaming more, so having my Twitch account also where I'll play games with other people and stuff is kind of also making sure that I can play games and still, be producing content. So I'll always be playing games, that's for sure. No matter how far up I get, no matter if I'm the first suit on the moon or something, which, but I'll always be enjoying video games. They're where I started. It's what made me love the fandom. Like, come on, Sly Cooper? Really? Yeah. What's my favorite convention? Now, this one's pretty simple just due to the fact that it was my first convention and it's probably where I've met the most of my friend group, or at least got the openings to make the most friends that I could. And that is Furst Squared. Now, Furst Squared is a convention in Brookfield, Wisconsin. That's slightly west of Milwaukee. And it tops off at about maybe 1,000, 1,500. It's super small, nice hotel, very compact. You'll always run into everybody that you want to meet. And it's one of the most fun and interactive experiences I've ever met. I met Semjay there. Like, it's where I learned to want to do improv, where to work on stuff. It's one of my favorite conventions because no matter who you are or what you're doing, you can always get involved and have some fun, no matter what. You don't feel like you're being shunned or anything. It's a very open and welcoming con, and I love it to death. And I will, no matter what, always be trying to go to that con if I could only afford one con a year. Our next question is, with Chewy, do you prefer to empathize fursuiting, character development, or both? And now with Chewy, I see him a lot as me, as a person. So a lot of the character development that goes to him goes into me. Like, especially at an early stage, I was a very shy and introverted person, and I wanted to become more extroverted. So I kind of designed Chewy to be how I want to be. I want to be more excited. I want to be better at talking and doing stuff. And I focus on that in my suits, and it tends to reverberate to me as an actual person. With actual character development, I prefer to use Kylo, because he is completely different. He is more jumpy, excited, will fight everything in the world to be cute, and I like to use him a lot more for stuff, so be on the lookout for him as well. And our last but certainly not least one. If you have a furry crush, who is it? And if not, what is your favorite god or goddess from, I guess, whatever? And I'm not really, I probably have a few, but I can't really think of some off the top of my head, but I guess one of the big ones I have is Sparky Can Do. Their content has inspired me to do a lot of crazy things, like in some of my previous videos with standing on the edge of the cliff, climbing a cliff in fursuit. I want to do crazy, like, fun things that you wouldn't normally see fursuiters do, because I see them doing it, and I'm like, well, I can do that. I should try doing it and push my limits, because that's something that I like to do. I'm a thrill seeker. And for god or goddess, I like Hermes. I don't really have a reason, I just like him. He seems kind of cool. And that was it for our Q&A this time. Now, there's probably still a bunch more questions that we got to get to, and I'm open for tons more. So if you have any questions that you'd like to know, put them down in the description. I will be referencing this one as well as the others for more questions in the future, and I will definitely be doing another of these probably in 3 or 4 months, depending on when you guys would want one. And thank you guys so much for watching. Be sure to like, subscribe, hang out with me, whatever. I'm at a lot of cons. I will be at MFF this year, fur squared, and we'll be at a quad fur, of course. Thank you guys for watching, and have a good night. Bye!